Hi everybody, this is Dr. Cook. I wanted to cover a couple things in this video about the final paper that I wasn't able to cover in class yesterday. The first thing that is needed is to go back to week 1 and go to the link, the interview report, and I would like you to pull up the guidelines once again because we want to make sure that everything adheres to the guidelines. So when you look at it again, it says the introduction of your report will be an introduction of the interviewee. Be sure to obtain background information such as education and years of experience. So that is what we're looking. There are 5 body paragraphs. Again, 2 are required. You have to answer about communication, both written and oral. And then you can choose either current trends, innovations, or ethics. Only choose one of the 2. Don't choose both. I have given you feedback on your outlines if you did this wrong. Something else to point out, the point of view is in third person. Second person is not appropriate, so you shouldn't have the word you or your anywhere in the paper. First person, of course, is allowed in your introductory paragraph and in the conclusion. In terms of the format, I'm going to look at that carefully, but please make sure that you have 900 to 1200 words. Everything is in APA format. Let's have a look now at the sample paper. So if you go back to the table of contents and scroll to the very bottom, I have put the sample paper on here, the sample interview report. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to download it so it's a little bit bigger for you to see. So I do want to walk through the various aspects. We covered it in class yesterday, but I want to point it out once more. So on your title page, you have to have running head written exactly like this: small r, capital, or small h, capital R. The title of your paper, as you see, this one we just called a counseling interview. That is in all capital letters, and on the right-hand side, you have to have your page number inserted. The title, because it's small, matches the one at the top, counseling interview. When you have it in the paper itself or on the title page, you do not use all capital letters. Your name, the name of the college, and the date. Please do not use numbers. Write out the date in full month, day, and year. When you go to page 2, again, you should have 2 here if you did it correctly. And now we don't have running head, we just have counseling interview in all capital letters. And that will be on every page the same. You put your title here at the top, counseling interview, and then your first paragraph is to introduce the person that you interviewed. As you see, we have a number of sentences here. The last sentence is what we call the preview statement. You should then list everything that you're going to talk about: educational requirements, job duties, communication, innovations, trends, and client treatment options. These are listed in the order in which they come in your paper. So you see educational requirements, and the first section is educational requirements. You do want to have, since this is a report, you do want to have sections and name the sections, the category, and you can put this in bold. Throughout the rest of this section, you do not need to refer to the person you interviewed. You are just writing about the job. So educational requirements. To enter the field of substance abuse counseling, one must first acquire an associate degree. So what this does is it establishes what the paragraph is about. It does talk about the educational requirements, while it is a little bit more specific, and you can make it a little bit more general. You do see 1 here. This is an example of third person. There's another example of third person. But you should not use I in the body of the paper. You can only use it in the beginning and the end, and you certainly should not have you anywhere in the paper. So this is a good example of a good topic sentence. Job duties. Substance abuse counselors have a wide variety of duties and responsibilities. There are no specifics given in this sentence, but it is a good preview sentence as to what the paragraph is all about. The rest of the paragraph should focus on that. And really what is missing here would be a nice sentence at the end which would conclude this. It should refer back to your topic sentence and possibly then lead into the next section. So have a look at these. Some of the paragraphs are a little bit shorter. So this is an example of an okay one. It passed, but it's not like the best grade in the world. For the conclusion, don't write in conclusion. Please write in closing or to close. Again, you can have I in here. And what I wrote in your outlines is make sure you give some specific, concrete examples of what you learned as a result of the report. Don't simply say you learned a lot, or they gave you a lot of information, or the person was great, because the concluding paragraph is sort of a reflection, and it should reflect on what you learned as a result of the entire project, and it should not focus necessarily on the person. So please look at this sample carefully so that you have an idea of how this report is structured and written. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. If you missed class yesterday, I strongly suggest that you go back to week 4 and you go into APA Introduction, because we did cover the first part of the APA, which you will need for your papers coming up, as well as the first skills assessment. We did take a little quiz. This quiz didn't count. It was just to see how much you knew. And we covered a presentation, but if you look at the references PowerPoint, this will give you all of the information that we covered in class yesterday. I would recommend looking at finding the source URL as well as directions for using EBSCOhost. We did look at EBSCOhost briefly yesterday, and we began looking for URLs for references, and we did one class activity, which is here. Again, if you missed class, I would highly recommend looking at this class activity, because if you do not know how to do this properly, then you will not know how to do the skills assessment. So again, this week your thank you letter was due and the outline was due. I returned both of those. Some of you have revisions to make, so please make sure you make the revisions and the corrections and upload it. Even if you like the grade you got on your thank you letter, if there's any kind of error whatsoever, you want to revise it, upload it so that I can look at it. Please watch your due dates. The paper coming up is due next Monday at 11:59 p.m. So this should bring you up to date what we did this week. If you missed class, please make sure you catch up and do everything that is required. And if you have any questions about something that is due, if you have questions about your outline or your thank you letter or anything else, some people are having trouble finding things on D2L, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm in my office all day today and will be in my office most of the day tomorrow on Friday. So have a good week and see you next Monday.